Hello and welcome to Club Wellbeing's Practitioner of the Week interview, where I have an amazing guest joining us today, where you can get all your wellbeing tips and advice on things like homeopathy, yoga, fitness, nutrition, energy, healing, chakra balancing, and many, many more. My name is Sobia Kahn. I am an influencer and a broadcaster, and I'll be hosting today's interview with our amazing guest. So let me introduce you to our guest. I have David Shepherd in the house.
Hi, guys.
I'm sure most of you know David. Hi and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome to you, to our offices.
I know, I can't wait. So David is an NLP practitioner. He does hypnotherapy, which we'll be discussing as well. And also does many things, training, coaching, to Hoonah, which will explain what that is a bit later on as well as timeline therapy as well, which is one of his favorite. So he's going to show us how we can how we can change our game in our life and live a more abundant lifestyle in all aspects of our life, letting go of any limiting beliefs that we may have and any negative thought patterns that we have in our life currently.
Right.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that'll come out as we go along.
Talk, yeah. Okay, I just say hi, Manjeet Kaur. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
And please do remember, if you have any comments, then please do put them in the comments box below, and also keep your thumbs and your hearts coming to us, because we love to see your love.
I love it.
And let us know what part of the world you are connecting from, so we can give you a shout out as well, which will be great. And also, if you find value in it, then please do share. So let me tell you a little bit about David, who he is, what he does, and why he does it, and then we'll go into this evening's topic.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So David has spent 30 years mastering new techniques, skills, science and magic in order to help others become the person they want to be, building up a reputation as a master trainer of NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy and NLP coaching along the way. In 1990, David resigned from a successful career in London City, which seems to be quite common these days.
Yep.
In 1993, David launched his own company called Performance Partnership Online. David also teaches Hoonah, which we'll explain what that is a bit later. David, in 2001, wrote his book, Presenting Magically, which was co-wrote with... is it Ted James?
Ted James, yep.
Yeah, David was the first person in the world to release studio recorded training on CD and later videos on DVD. In 2017, David created the Netflix of NLP and personal development, which is amazing and very creative, all into an app, and new content is released every month. So you're actually given everything that, David wants to share with you. David works with private clients, world-class athletes, performers, artists, entrepreneurs, and business people, enabling them to change their own game. David has personally trained many of the top people within the NLP and personal development, including Andy Harrington, Christopher Howard, Matt James, to name a few. And David believes in to make the seemingly impossible possible. Now, in his spare time, through all of this, David now has time for reading in his library, which he loves. He loves music, playing his guitars, and practicing magic in his home, which is beautiful as well. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before is there anything I missed out?
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of stuff.
And today I'm doing a cold, so you'll have to excuse me a little bit if I have a little bit of sniffles and I look a little bit teary-eyed. I'm doing a cold today, but we're working on it, so it'll be gone very soon. So.
Yeah, you'll do all the NLP and the Hoonah.
Absolutely, I've got to, haven't I? Really, exactly. I haven't got any choice.
Right, brilliant. Hi, Surinder. Just give a shout out to a few of you. Please do, like I said, comment in the link below if there's any questions you'd like to ask David as we go through today's interview.
Definitely.
So we look forward to that as well. Right, okay, so David, what is NLP and how does it work to better our life and create positive patterns?
Well, I think NLP was what got me into this in the first place in 1990, because I came across this thing called neuro-linguistic programming. Whoa.
Oh, we've got
oh, there we go. Back around. In 1990 through Tony Robbins' book, Unlimited Power.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I read it and I went, right, wow, this is fantastic. So
yeah.
I think the thing for me is that NLP is probably the single most effective set of tools to enable you to run your own brain. You've got this thing about, the human brain is the most powerful computer on the planet,
Yes.
but we didn't get a user manual. So the majority of people, even if they think or believe they've got this most powerful computer in their head, they don't know how to make it work for them. So NLP, firstly, what NLP does is it enables you to take control of your own mind, take control of your own brain, and get it to do what you want it to do. Then also what NLP does is it's got a set of very, very powerful techniques for effective communication, effective influence and persuasion, which, whether that's one-on-one, whether it's face-to-face like this, or whether it's one-on-many like this, then, particularly one-on-many is what Tad and I published in Presenting Magically for the first time, was how do you use NLP as a speaker, a presenter, and a trainer. Some very, very simple, very, very pragmatic tools for taking control of your own mind, but also for communicating with, influencing and persuading other people.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah. And I suppose especially in today, there's so much more awareness now as well of self-development, and we've got so many more tools out there as well to help and support us in sort of positive patterns. Yeah. How important is it to sort of take control of our mind?
Well, if you looked at that NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, then we've got neuro is the nervous system. It's not only the brain but the entire nervous system in your entire body. You've got linguistic, which is words, but also it's the language of pictures, it's the language of sounds, like the language of music, for instance, like when you mentioned that, the language of feelings, also smells and tastes and self-talk, and then programming. And, I'm from an ex-computer programming background. That's what I did in the city for Reuters. Okay. So programming, neuro-linguistic programming, I'm going like, okay, so somebody's going to put a connector into the back of my brain and reprogram me, and I thought I could do with somebody doing that, to be honest with you, and I know some other people that could do with reprogramming as well, but it's not quite like that. So the programming in NLP is the unconscious programs that we run for everything that we do, every single behavior we do. We run a program for it. The question is, does the program work for us, or does it not work for us? And so NLP is about getting rid of the programs that don't work for us and installing programs that do work for us. Sure. So consistently, we can get more and more and more of what we want.
So it's almost like how we have computers and we do like a reboot all the time.
Yeah, so a reboot all the time, Download a new
Get rid
operating
of all
system.
The last year's stuff. And
I think the other thing to mention, I think that is a little bit off to one side, isn't it? The other thing I missed out on NLP, which actually could be one of the most important pieces, is modelling. Okay. So, are there naturals in everything? Are there natural presenters? Are there natural speakers? Are there natural entrepreneurs? Are there natural salespeople? Yes, there are. And if you ask them, so how do you do what you do? They would go, I don't know, I just do it, right? Yeah. Now, total transparency, I'm not a natural-born presenter, speaker, entrepreneur, or salesperson. I had to learn that. And I learned it from NLP. Oh, wow. But then equally, I'd find some people who were naturals. Like a great example of that would be my friend Steve McDermott. Voted European Motivational Speaker of the Year 3 times out of the last 6 years. I wanted to be able to do what he does, because he's more a mixture between a stand-up comedian and a business trainer.
I like that.
And he's from Leeds,
right?
Hey. Shout out for Leeds. Shout out for Steve.
So we're going to say, Steve, hi.
And so I sat down with him and I modelled him. He was totally open to that, because he goes, well, I don't know what I do, David, either. So, you know, if you can show me what it is that I'm doing that works, I'll be able to do more of it. And actually, there's an interview with Steve in the app, where I model him in the app, so anybody can get access to that. So I think that's the other important thing about NLP, is to be able to go to somebody else and go, how do they do that, and extract that from them and put it into yourself.
And you can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an example you can.
Wow, it's exciting, guys, isn't it?
Totally you can.
Hi, Frederick. Thank you for joining. Oh, I'm
Hi,
so
Frederick.
excited about this. Okay, cool. Okay, so some people are, what are the presuppositions of NLP? Why is it vital to understand these, especially if we want to change our behavior patterns?
Yeah. So the presuppositions of NLP are a series of convenient, empowering beliefs. So I think, you know, certainly before I came across NLP, thought a belief was a belief, and these things are absolute cast in stone, absolute truths. Whereas one of the things that we discover from NLP is that actually we can choose our beliefs. We can change our beliefs. We can install new beliefs if the ones that we've got aren't working. So the presuppositions of NLP are a series of convenient, empowering beliefs, which that if we act as if they're true, will enable us to get better results for ourselves, but also better results for other people.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, one of the presuppositions of NLP is that everybody has their own unique model of the world, in that we all, the experience that we're having right now, the experience that you're having, the experience Sarinda's having, the experience that everybody who's watching this video is having, is different because we filter it in different ways, through our expectations, through our experiences, through our beliefs, through our values. So, you know, I was looking at some of your videos. You were getting, like, you know, several thousand views, right? So what we can say is that, let's say there was 2,000 people view a video.
Yeah.
That means there's 2,000 different versions of that video.
Yes.
And none of them are like the one that you think that you're delivering to people, because people change it, right?
Yeah. So that's why I need your comments, guys.
Yeah. And then also it's to respect other people's models of the world. That doesn't mean agree with them, but just respect them for what it is, which is, you know, it's just their model of the world. And then there are a series of other presuppositions, like all behavior that somebody demonstrates comes from a positive intention. Everybody's doing the best they can with the resources they think they have available to them.
Yeah.
Which implies forgiveness, right? But not only for other people, but also for ourselves.
Which is the most important one.
Yeah. And, you know, there's that thing, you know, I believe this, you know, you'll never be able to forgive other people till you forgive yourself.
Yeah, and it's a really good point you made, because I was having this conversation with a friend a week ago, and we were talking about forgiveness.
Right.
And she was really attacking me and saying, well, why would you forgive someone if they've done this X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
And I said, but the forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. You know, it's more about you letting go of the hardship or the baggage that you have surrounding anything that's happened to you, and then you let it go and you make peace with it, and that's what forgiveness is all about, right?
And, you know, that's a big thing in Hoonah as well. In that, you know, in ancient Hawaii, if I'd done something that had harmed you in some way, then I'd come to you and say, I know I've done this and I know it harmed you, will you forgive me? And you would always forgive me. Because once I've gone, I know I've done this, will you forgive me? I'm done with it at that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't forgive me, it's you that's carrying it around. But I think...
Yeah, it's almost like you've given the baggage.
Well, yeah. Now, here's another important distinction on forgiveness, though, which I think is really important. When you forgive somebody, it doesn't mean that what they did was right.
Yes.
It just means that you've let it go.
Yeah.
That's the important distinction.
For yourself, right?
Yeah, and it's for your own benefit.
Yeah, for your well-being as well overall,
Absolutely.
Right? Brilliant. Okay, is there anything? Is that it on the?
Well, I did a Facebook Live just on the presuppositions of NLP, and it was 2 hours. So
I know.
that's also in the app, by the way. That
Yeah,
whole thing.
of course. Okay, some people are very skeptical about hypnotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
What is hypnosis, and how can it help our well-being? Is it safe?
Okay, good. Yeah. So I think a lot of people, because they think that hypnotherapy is what they've seen in stage hypnosis.
Yeah.
Right, like with Paul McKenna and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, the stage hypnotists like to create this impression that they can make people do things that they don't want to do, which is not the case at all.
Yeah.
So the people who quite like a duck on the stage actually do want to do that. That's the scary bit of stage hypnosis, if you like.
Yeah.
So hypnosis is just a very effective way of communicating either self-hypnosis with your own unconscious mind or in hypnotherapy with somebody else's unconscious mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I did a demonstration this weekend at the big event that we were doing, Let's Make 2019 Our Best Year Yet, where that was all about discovering what your passions were, discovering what your life purpose is, and then making it happen. And just because you discover what your life purpose is doesn't mean that you believe you better do it easily or that it wouldn't scare you, right? So I asked for somebody who discovered that their life purpose was in some way, shape or form to be on the stage, whether it's as a speaker, a presenter, a trainer, or some kind of entertainer, right? Whether it's like in physical or whether it's over the new version of TV. But it scared them. And there was this lady, Valentina, put her hand up, and she said, "Yeah, this is what I want to do, because I've got a message. I want people to know these things, but I've got stage fright." So I brought her up onto the stage, which of course immediately put her into stage fright, and using hypnosis, I removed the fear. And I said, "So if we could remove the fear, what would you like instead?" And she said, "I'd like joy and happiness and calm and powerful." So literally what we did was I asked her unconscious mind, right, remove the fear and replace it with calm and joy and happiness and powerful. And our unconscious mind agreed. So, classic hypnosis. You've got to do a little bit of Vegas, for the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Click your fingers, come out of this thing. So she comes out of it. I said, look at the audience. There's like a good several hundred people in the audience. And she goes, wow, I'm feeling powerful. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling joyful. And I said, great. Well, there's more for you today.
Yeah.
So there was 3 of us doing this particular event. There was me, there was my friend Greg Secker, and another friend of mine from Paris, who's one of my NLP master practitioners, Laurent Beretta, who's a magician. So what I did was I gave it to Laurent so that he could teach her how to do stage magic.
Awesome.
And she came on at the end of the day. She'd never done magic ever before. So she goes from having stage fright to getting up in front of several hundred people and performing a stage magic illusion that she'd never ever done before in the space of a matter of hours.
Guys.
That's the power of hypnosis, right?
Yeah,
like when you go that, wow, let's get some more of it.
I want some of this.
So, and then your final one was, is it safe? Yes. Because your unconscious mind has its own inbuilt kind of like safety system. So your unconscious mind won't do things that isn't okay with your unconscious mind.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I got an example of that. I was doing a stage show in my master practitioner training where I have somebody have the number 4 disappear. Right. So when they do that, they go, can you count my fingers? They go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And I go, is that many fingers I should have? And they go, no. How many should I have? 5. Okay, let's count down. Yeah. This is a good example of the creativity of the unconscious mind. So we start at 5. 5, 3, 2, 1. Spare.
Or 0.
Yeah, 0 or whatever, -1 or whatever. And so I did this with this guy, and I said, when I touch you on the shoulder, you'll awaken, and the number 4 will have totally disappeared from your mind.
Right.
No, it won't. And I went, okay, so for what purpose? It came straight out of trance. for what purpose is it not okay for it to disappear? He goes, I'm an accountant.
I need the
It's
number.
more than I need the number.
Yeah.
It's more than my career's worth, you know.
Yeah.
So even something as mundane as having momentarily the number 4 disappear, his unconscious mind wouldn't do it.
Right.
So that's why hypnosis and hypnotherapy is totally safe.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. That's good to know. So there you are, guys. It is safe, so we can use it. I was a bit, I wasn't sure either, so hence why I asked the question. Yeah, spooky and unknown territory.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually, saying that, I went to an event this weekend by James, Jason and James event, and they actually did a hypnotherapy.
Yes, Jason,
on
he taught, I was having a Skype with him, he said, David,
amazing.
I know you didn't teach it, I modelled it off your video, and I did it.
And he said, he did, and it was so impressive, and the girl she had stage fright as well, and speaking, and that's something she wanted to deliver with power and inspiration, and she barely could speak, and she was shaking and nervous when she got up there, and honestly, after the hypnosis, it was literally like she couldn't stop talking. It was verbal diarrhea. Right. So well done to Jason and James.
This is what happens, you see, when you teach people stuff, they go and do it.
They go and do it. I was blown away by it. I was like, wow, what is this?
Yeah.
So there you are. Okay, what is Hoonah, and why should we want to learn it? What are the key benefits of Hoonah?
Hoonah, yeah. So Hoonah was something that I discovered in 1993, and a little bit later than I discovered NLP. And Hoonah is the original, spiritual teachings or esoteric teachings of the people of Hawaii. Now, Hawaii, because of its geographical remoteness, the missionaries didn't arrive there until around about 1820.
Okay.
And they promptly, just like they did in the rest of the world, made the practice of Hoonah, chanting Hawaiian chants, and dancing the original hula, they made it illegal. But that was only 270 years ago. Yeah. Here, it happened like over 1,000 years ago. In other parts of the world, it happened more than 1,000 years ago. So it remained very close to the surface in Hawaii. So Hoonah is those original teachings, and it's about the fact that we are energetic beings. From a Hoonah perspective, it would be called mana. Whereas in NLP and in hypnosis and also in timeline therapy and mental emotional release, we got the idea of the two minds, the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. In Hoonah, there's a third mind, which is the higher self, which is the us that is the true us, and it transcends time. And if we looked at a model that entertained the idea of multiple lifetimes, your higher self is the you that's in every single lifetime.
Of course.
So it's the one that's always existed. Right? And so
some would call your spirit or your soul,
spirit,
right?
or the God spirit within you. Your in some systems it would be your soul. It would be your guardian angel, holy guardian angel. Any of those kind of things would be your higher self. So that kind of like completes the, and I think before the missions arrived, there was virtually no mental, emotional, or physiological disease in Hawaii. And I think, it's because this wasn't something that you went to learn. It was just the way it was.
Okay.
Whereas the majority of people today are wandering around thinking, conscious mind, this is all there is, which is denying 2/3 of who you are. Is it any wonder that we've got an increasing amount of mental, emotional, and physiological disease? So a number of core things in Hoonah would be about energy, about the fact that we're all connected energetically. And and also the process you might have heard of Ho'oponopono, which is the process of forgiveness. That's actually a Hawaiian Hoonah process, which has been borrowed by a number of people. It's become very, very popular. But that's where it originally comes from. So I like it because it when you've got NLP, which is great for learning how to control your mind, as we said, you've got timeline therapy or mental emotional release, which gives you emotional control. enables you to get rid of your limiting beliefs. You've got hypnosis, which enables you to tap into the power of your unconscious mind.
We like this.
And then Hoonah, which brings the bigger kind of picture that we are in some way, shape or form, we're an energetic being. We're a spiritual being, in whatever spiritual means to you.
Yeah.
Not so much religious, but spiritual.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. Wow, guys. That's all I'm saying is wow. Okay, and what are, you've said what the benefits are, and it kind of it's like an overview, isn't it? It's the whole concept of energy is very important anyway, right? We're starting to really understand energy now so much, even scientifically we're understanding it far more.
Yeah.
Okay. Timeline therapy.
Yep.
What is it and how does it benefit us? Or is there any benefit to timeline therapy?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us what it is first.
So timeline therapy was created by a very dear friend of mine, Tad James, who I wrote Presenting Magically with. He's a very good friend of mine. He's one of my mentors. And it's a set of techniques which enables people to release negative emotions like anger and sadness and fear and hurt and guilt from events in the past.
Right.
So why it was such a massive thing for me was that when I first learned it in 1993, I'd had two, what I would call significant emotional events in my life. One was my dad dying, because my dad died when he was only 52, and we were very, very close. So I had the full range of emotions about that. Many of them didn't make sense. I was angry about him dying. I mean, how crazy is that, you know?
It happens.
Yeah, I felt, anyway, how dare he come and die on me?
Yeah, and leave me alone.
Obviously, yeah, exactly, no. I was sad, obviously. I was afraid because, he died of cancer, and I was afraid then was the same thing going to happen to me.
Right.
Here's another one that doesn't make sense. Hurt. I felt hurt that he'd gone. And also I felt guilty. Was this something that I did or something that I didn't do, that if I hadn't done those things, he'd still be alive. Right. So I had all of that. Then the other one was my marriage ending in divorce.
Okay.
And I just thought that life was about, you learn how to like deal with this stuff. You couldn't
like you do,
get rid of it. It's just, you got to cope with it.
Yeah.
And in 1993, when I did my original timeline therapy training, all of those emotions around those events, as well as lots of other events, just disappeared in the space of an afternoon.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, wow, I could think about my dad and events in the past, and they didn't,
It didn't affect you.
No, I just felt the love that I had for him, which had kind of like been buried under the other stuff.
Love is the core, isn't it? And then everything else is like putting them on.
Quite often it disappears, but it hasn't. It's still there, but it's just hidden. I discovered I got this major limiting belief of I'm not good enough.
Which seems to be a lot of us.
What areas of life does that affect?
Everything.
All of them.
Yeah.
10, 15 minutes, gone.
Wow.
I had a phobia of bees and wasps.
Okay.
And I was doing this training in Southern California, where the wasps are big, and everybody wanted to eat outside because it's nice weather. I was not comfortable. 10, 15 minutes, phobia gone. Yeah. So this was a major turning point for me, because I'd actually gone to learn NLP so that I could learn how to train salespeople in NLP.
Right.
That's why I decided to go and do it.
Yeah.
Then I had this experience, and I went...
And also, because you had just got rid of all these, like you said, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, things were going. It's like, what now? You're empty, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
the vessel needs to be filled with something.
Yeah, so then what you do is you plant some really fantastic goals out in the future. And the thing that I got was I went, everybody should know this. This is stuff we should be teaching at school. It's way more useful than knowing that the Battle of Hastings is 1066,
Yeah.
And so that was the moment that I went, right, this is what I'm here for. I want to make this knowledge, if you like, available to as many people around the world as possible. And that was 25 years ago this year.
Wow.
And we've been doing it ever since. So is there value in timeline therapy? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Fine.
Huge.
There you are, guys.
Huge.
Timeline therapy. So we've got NLP, we've got Hoonah, we've got hypnosis or hypnotherapy, we have timeline therapy.
Yep.
And when we put it all together, wow.
Wow. Powerful. Each one of them separately is massively powerful. Put them together and it's like,
unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. If you guys are enjoying this, do you have any comments, then please do put them in the comments box below, because I want to hear what you guys are thinking. Have you tried any of them yourself? If you have, then please let us know. Share with us what's your experience been as well. How are you finding it? Let me know where you're tuning in from. And also, if you find value in this, then please do share it to your friends and family as well, because you never know what stage in life they are at, what they need to hear, and this video might just help them create some awareness too. So David, what made you change and want to train and coach and teach people NLP and hypnosis, Hoonah, timeline therapy, etc.? And what was the main sort of turning point for you? What made you, because your background was in the city, working just normal like everyone else,
and computers. That was my background. Well, it was that experience I had in May 1993, where I had a personal experience of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know these kind of things existed.
Right.
Didn't even think it was possible. But I had a personal experience of it. It was undeniable. Just like the lady at the weekend on my event on Sunday, but also, I think it was a lady, was it with Jessen?
With Jessen, yeah, it was very impressive.
You can't walk away from that and go, I don't think it worked.
Or ignore it, seriously.
Or ignore it.
Even as someone watching, you can't ignore that.
Yeah, because it's right between. It's either you personally experience it or you see it before your very own eyes, and the person's not making it up.
Yeah.
So then you start to realise what's possible, and the thing it lit up inside of me was, I guess, what I would now call my life purpose, which when I first tapped into that was around global transformation.
Right.
So I thought, what am I going to do next week? Then I kind of got it at a deeper level and went that my life purpose was to change the thinking of the world. And I went to, in that same week, I mean, this is like a pivotal week for me, which was the NLP practitioner training. I did a morning session on Hoonah, which I'd never heard of before. And Tad, who is the trainer on it, chanted an ancient Hawaiian chant, which he said was at least 750 years old, maybe even older than that. I knew consciously that I'd never heard it before, but I knew what was coming next. It's like at some level I had heard it before. Right. All the hairs on my arms stood on end, and I went like, whoa, I felt like I'd been plugged into the mains, So
you're not wireless anymore.
No, exactly, no. So I'm going, okay, not only do I want to learn NLP, hypnosis, and timeline therapy, I want to learn Hoonah too.
Yeah, okay.
And now I'm a kumu in our
sounds like
lineage.
A song, doesn't it?
Which goes back at least 29 generations, which is an absolutely massive honour for me.
Wow.
And I went to Tad, and I said, okay, because that style of training was only available in California and Hawaii in 1993. Okay. Couldn't get it in the UK or Europe or anywhere like that. So I went to Tad and said, okay, how do I do what you do? How do I take this to other parts of the world? And he said, I've got no idea. Give me a couple of days and I'll think about it. So he came back to me and he gave me this long list of things that I have to do. And I'd had a number of failed businesses at this point in time. I was like about 50, 60,000 pounds in debt, which is a lot of money today, but in like 25 years ago, it was even more.
Yeah.
And he told me this is what you'd have to do. And I experienced my mouth opening and it going like, okay, I'll do it, Then my conscious mind kicked in and went, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, the limit.
How are you going to pay for it? How are you going to, whatever.
What have you agreed to?
But, I think quite often when you do something like that, either, depending on which way you want to think about it, you find a way, or the universe conspires with you
Yes.
to find a way.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas most people think the universe is conspiring against them.
Yeah, but it's
Whereas it's like, I went like, right, I'm going to do it,
not. You need
and
to flow with it,
and it happened, or I made it happen. So that was the turning point, and then I've just done it more and more and more and more and more, year on and year out. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, of course, especially with your app now that
Yeah.
you've launched as well. So what, in terms of, so you've had your pivotal points, but what made you want to sort of really go, because training and coaching people is a different thing to sort of learning something for yourself.
Yeah.
To have that passion and drive to, so what made you want to, teach and sort of coach people?
Well, I
And
think...
not keep it to yourself and be like, well, I know all this stuff, and now I'm going to use it, and I'm going to just be
I see what you mean.
fabulous, know?
Okay, yeah. Okay. I was just, I was so blown away with my personal experience that my immediate response was, everybody should know this. And I don't want it to sound conspiratorial, but I think there are certain people around the planet that don't want people to know this stuff.
Yes. Hence why.
So it gets kind of
led,
buried or whatever. And I just instantly went, wow, I want to share it with as many people as possible. This was in 1993. It's before the internet. And so that meant the only way of sharing it was through live events. So that's what I started doing. But I've always been quite into technology because of my background in electronics and IT. So then, as you said in the little brief bio, you could get programs on audio cassettes, but they weren't available on CD. So you had to listen to the entire thing. You couldn't find a particular track. So I built a recording studio so that I could put everything on CDs so that people could access things on a track-by-track basis. There were videos, VHS. You're probably not old enough to remember VHS. But it wasn't available on DVD. So we were the first people that brought out on CDs and on DVD.
Yeah.
And so we're an early adopter of that. And then because of technology, then of course the internet and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because of technology now, I saw another opportunity like 2 years ago of taking it even bigger because we could deliver it in an app on your phone or your tablet.
Explain this app to us. This is really exciting, guys. So we want you guys to hear what happened here.
So because people were phoning us up and saying, I don't have a CD player.
Right. Yes.
I don't have a DVD player. So how am I going to listen to your CDs?
Yeah.
So for a while we moved to downloads, digital downloads. That didn't really work out that well. And then somebody came to me. The person who came to me and gave me this suggestion, I had to pay attention to him because his name's Magic, right? So if somebody walks up to you and introduces themselves as Magic, you pay attention.
Yes, absolutely.
And he said, have you ever thought about creating an app? So I said, no. He said, okay, give me a CD set, which is our Change Your Mind, Change Your Future CD set. And then a week later, he sent me this app, which was Change Your Mind, Change Your Future in an app. Oh, wow, fantastic. And the idea was...
magic.
Yeah. The idea was that we'd have an app for each of the programs that we got, like Change Your Mind, Change Your Future, Presented Magically, Selling Magically, Practitioner, whatever. But I went, why not put them all in one app? Yeah. And have in-app purchases. So we started building this, which was way more complicated and complex than we'd originally envisaged. It took a year to put it together. And then I remember it was Christmas, probably 2 years ago. And I thought, and I'd watched, because of what's happened recently in the news, he's not as well viewed these days as he was before. But Kevin Spacey did this interview for the Daily Telegraph, I think it was, and he was talking about the values of Netflix. And it said it was to create high quality content that was easily accessible at a fair price.
And then light bulbs went off.
And I went, let's create the Netflix of NLP and personal development.
Awesome.
Everybody thought I was mad because it's like in the app there is like thousands and thousands of pounds worth of content. But you get it for a month for free, just like with Netflix, and after that it's $6.99 a month, and you can cancel at any point in time. And I didn't know whether it was a stroke of genius or I'd gone mad. Some people still say I've gone mad today.
Right.
But I was just saying to you before we went live, I'd had an article published in India, and we got people phoning us up saying, really love the article, could I get XYZ product? And when we said, yes, you can get it, but we said, this is how much it will cost, and then how much it would cost to ship it, which was more than the cost of the product in the first place. It was just beyond people's financial ability. Now, I'm not saying everybody can afford $6.99 a month, but it's certainly a lot more people than could afford,
thousands of pounds.
Yeah, thousands of pounds. And within a week of launching it, I got contacted by this gentleman in India who'd subscribed to it and said it was the most amazing thing, and it was like, he just loved it, and then we've just added to it over and over again. So we get new material in there. My Masters of Influence, we professionally videoed that's in there now. All the Facebook Lives for the last 2 years is in there. We've already got practitioner training in there. We've got master practitioner training in there. I'm about to launch, I guess I can say something about this now. I'm about to launch the NLP trainers training.
Oh my God, tell us more.
Into the app as well. So,
And you heard it here first, guys.
And it's got all the manuals, it's got the slides, it's got everything. So it's all in your phone, whether it be an Android or an Apple phone or a tablet. So if you've got internet access, you can access the entire lot, all from that one portal, if you like. Awesome. Which again fits in with my life purpose of changing the thinking of the world. It just made it. Technology's just made it easier for me to achieve that purpose. Maybe.
And gives you the space as well, doesn't it, to think and sort of grow, and then you've already set the systems are ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
Exciting times for you. Wow, awesome. So how can we make 2019 our best year yet?
So, making 2019 our best year. And you said about 5 tips.
Yes.
I think a real key thing is to find out what your true purpose and your true passion is.
Okay.
This weekend I did a process to enable people to discover that.
I think you've passed it on to me.
It's quick, right? This is one of the exercises I haven't do. So let's say that you woke up tomorrow morning, right? So you woke up tomorrow morning to discover that you got 10 billion. That's 10,000 million pounds in your bank account for you to do whatever you want to do with. How would you spend the rest of your life? Now, of course, what a lot of people go well, I'd pay off my mortgage, I'd buy a house, I'd pay off my debts, I'd pay off all of my family's debts, I'd go away and lie on a beach for 6 months, which isn't actually the answer to the question. How would you spend the rest of your life? What would you do if you could do absolutely anything? If you could just do something because you loved it and you enjoyed it, and it didn't matter if it paid the mortgage because you haven't got it anymore. It doesn't matter if to service your debts or pay for your kids or anything because it's all paid for, right?
It's done, yeah.
That's your true purpose and your true passion. So find out what that is, and then start working on how you're going to do it. Yeah. Now, a lot of people go, there's no way I could do that. That's just limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Or they go, it's not okay to do that. That's just negative emotions.
Right, okay.
Right? Because we're educated that you've got to work. You've got to do a job that not that you don't necessarily enjoy, that many people hate, because they've got to pay for their mortgage, their bills, and all of this kind of stuff. And that's ingrained in us. But we can change that. So also I think, look at what you set out to achieve in 2018 and you achieved it. Then look at what you set out to achieve in 2018 and you didn't achieve it, or you haven't achieved it yet.
Yeah. Or you might be sort of halfway through it or something,
So then come up with your rules for winning. What were the things that you did when you set a goal and you achieved it, that you didn't do when you set a goal and you didn't achieve it? Yeah.
Right, okay.
Or what were the things you didn't do when you achieved the goal that you did do when you didn't achieve it? And they become your rules for winning then. And then set goals for 2019. And if you apply your rules for winning, then you dramatically increase the probability of you achieving them. Yeah. Then I think set exciting goals. I think a lot of people set goals and they're not really exciting, and then they wonder why they're not excited.
Yeah, and not doing them.
Yeah, and not doing them, because if you set boring goals, then you're going to be bored, and when you're bored, you don't take action. So set yourself some really exciting goals. Just thinking about them really lights you up.
Lights you up, yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up to Christmas. What would light you up like a Christmas tree all year round? Yeah, those would be my tips for making 2019 our best year yet.
But do you do so the goals, because some people say goals don't really work, and I've heard that many times in conversations and reading books and so forth.
Yeah.
So, they're saying goal setting is not necessarily the right way. Maybe it's like, for example, you want something in your life, for example, a car maybe.
Right.
So how do you get to getting a car? And that might be you saving some money, but then when you have I need a car, I want to buy a car, that becomes more of a attainable goal.
Yeah.
And that makes you save rather than just saying, I just want to save, for example.
Yeah. My thing is, well, I'm doing a session tomorrow actually, which is a session on the difference between goal setting and goal achieving. Yeah,
Okay.
because there's a big difference between the two.
Okay.
I'm more into goal achieving than goal setting. So goal setting in and of itself doesn't work. Whereas if you know how to do goal achievement, then it does work.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the difference there. And I think the two big things, when you're setting a goal, it needs to be really specific.
Right.
Really, really, really specific, and it needs to have a specific time frame on it. Because otherwise, if you think it's your conscious mind is the goal setter. Yeah, you think about what you want. It's your unconscious mind that gets the goal for you.
Right.
That's your goal getter. Yeah. And your unconscious mind has the thinking style of like a 5-year-old. So if you were going to ask a 5-year-old to do your weekly shopping for you, how specific would you make the shopping list?
Yeah, very.
Very, right? Because you go
Might even put pictures on it and everything.
Here's £50, go and get some food. You're going to get chocolate and crisps back, right?
Yeah, and toys.
Well, if you have some food, then, crisps and chocolate are food, right?
Yeah.
You can't complain about the 5-year-old for not bringing you food because they did, So you've got to be specific. You've got to put a time on it. But also, here's a mistake I see a lot of people make, is that because when they're setting the goal, they can't think how they could achieve it, they don't set it.
Right, yeah, of course.
And when you're setting, that's the guaranteed way of not achieving your goals, is to not set it in the first place. But you don't need to know how you're going to achieve your goal when you set it.
That comes after.
Yeah,
right.
That is, you literally say to your unconscious mind, go get me this by this date. Then it's your unconscious mind's job to find out the how. And your unconscious mind has way, way more ideas about how than you'll ever be able to even think of.
And I suppose with the subconscious mind also, you know, you're talking about Hoonah and energy, it sort of can tap into different types of energy, right, that your conscious mind can't. So then it's be able to drag that into and or bring certain people, places or things to you that
situations,
make things happen.
circumstances, people to make it happen.
Wow.
And you know, I've experienced so many of those over the last 25 years, and also been witness to so many other people doing the same thing. You know, on my post on my wall, and I let it go onto my wall. It's a little bit provocative because it's a lady called Claire Martin who's been training with me for probably about 20 years, and she put this post up saying, "David Shepherd made me pregnant."
Oh yes, I saw that. I was like, okay, what's that about?
But when she came and did her training with me, all the doctors had told her that she'd never be able to have children, right? Because she had fertility issues.
Okay.
When she came and did her master practitioner training with me, she decided that's what she wanted to work on, was this fertility issue, which she did. And then several months later, she came on to our trainer's training, and she said, "I've got to tell you something." I went, like, "What's that?" She goes, "I'm pregnant." Yeah. And I'm going, "Fantastic." She said, "Yeah, I got pregnant on your master practitioner training." I said, "Don't tell anybody." People might take it the wrong way. So her husband just happens to be called David too, which makes it a little bit confusing. But he did the physical bit. I work with her around doing the mental and emotional bit. But a lot of people would go, "There's no point setting a goal to become pregnant because I've been told it's impossible."
Right, yes.
So there's no way that could happen. Well, Claire and her daughter would... interestingly, so Claire's daughter was obviously tiny in the womb when Claire was doing the master practitioner training. I told you about the hypnosis demo making the number 4 disappear.
Yeah.
So when Claire's daughter first started to learn how to count, she would go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
No.
And apparently Claire's has told me she's an absolutely phenomenal healer. Yeah.
Because
she became a master practitioner of NLP before she was born. Yeah.
Because she was there in the energy.
Yeah.
Well, that's just, I think, wow.
And then you just get bonkers things happening like that, right? I love that.
Yeah, I love it. Wow, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other tips or advice that you would like to share?
I think the biggest experience that I've had over the last 25 years is it doesn't matter where you are right now. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you've been. The only thing that matters is where do you want to go. And, you know, when I first started doing this, I wasn't in a great place, you know, but I knew I wanted to do it. And people would have said I was mad, you know, I was like massive debts. I was in a little bedsit, you know, I didn't have anything. Literally, you know, the performance partnership was created from nothing. Yeah, whereas a lot of people go like, I'll set up a business when I've got blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, when I'm ready, I've got this, I've got that,
And I go like, stop waiting.
Start creating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like that. Stop waiting, start creating. Yeah, I like that.
Hey, we're creating a lot of stuff here.
I like that. And, you know, the world is changing so fast. You know, look at what's changed this year, you know, like household names, you know, like the House of Fraser as an example in the high street. Gone. Well, you know, gone. Yeah. Gaucho Grill, very successful restaurant, top-end restaurant in the high street. Gone, you know, and you know I was going out to a meeting. I was in Richmond. I was starving hungry, didn't have much time, so I thought, where can I get some food really quick? McDonald's, right? So I went into McDonald's,
as you do,
and it was empty. Hardly anybody in there, but I could see in the kitchen they were frantically working like crazy.
Uber Eats.
Yeah. I'd never seen this before. Now this guy comes in and they give him a pallet like this, full of sausage and egg McMuffins, you know, and he walks out with them. And you know, I would never dream of waking up and going, I fancy a sausage and egg McMuffin. Let's get on to Uber Eats. But that's the way that people think now, right? Yeah. So we got to think about doing things in new ways, ways that we've never done before. And you know, here's the opportunity, particularly if people are in the same kind of space that we're in, right? In that today you can have your own radio station, your own TV station, your own newspaper, and your own publishing house. And it's like 5:25 now. I reckon you could have all of that set up and something actually broadcast on all of those channels before you went to bed at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
For free.
For free.
Never in history has that ever been possible. So, you know, as that caused the marketplace to be more crowded, so you've got to learn how to stand out. But, you know, you can literally launch all of that now. If you've got an internet and a phone, you're in business.
Go,
You know, no excuses anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you.
No excuses.
And also, I think we're in such beautiful and exciting times, right? Because it's been such a long time since things are changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
Right? So it depends how you see it. You can see it as a burden or excitement.
Yeah, you can see it as a threat or an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
And where's the difference between those two?
Yeah, because
in
ear. And your emotions, how you then feel about it all as well, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you so much
for
joining us and sharing your expertise and knowledge. I've absolutely loved having you and learning some. I want to learn even more. I'm like, I want to get into your head.
That's my purpose achieved.
Yeah.
I just want to have people go like, right, I want to find out more about this.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well, and let us know what you think. Even if you're watching it afterwards, do let us know, share your comments, let us know, be part of the community, and share your experiences as well. Let us know what you're thinking, what are your experiences so far on personal development, hypnosis, timeline therapy, any, or if you've even tried Hoonah, have you heard of it before? Let me know.
Yeah.
Or any other questions you may have for David, because David will answer them later on as well.
Yeah, in
so
the
if you do have something,
in the
then
message
please
feed underneath.
I don't think we have any yet, or the phone's not showing me. But if you do afterwards, then please just pop them in there as well. And if you just want to say hello, then say hello. We love the love. And so thank you so much for watching and tuning in and spending your time with us, because we appreciate that as well. And until next week, take care of yourself, love yourself, and be kind to one another. And I shall see you all next week, same time. And thank you again, David.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye? Anything you want to say? Create magic, maybe?
Well, if you want to find out more, then I think we got some links that are going out there.
Definitely. So I've on this broadcast, I've actually put on a detailed description on David and today's topic, and also I've put all the links on there. So you've got David's Facebook, you've got the app as well, if you want to go on to that as well, which is $6.99, I believe, with the first month being free.
First month's free. Yeah.
So first month and access to everything, and then it's $6.99.
Everything I've ever done.
So you need to ask yourself, how important is it for you to create your self-development? And with such a beautiful and cost-effective way, I think it's a great thing to do.
Yep.
And also we've got your website as well.
For our live events.
Yeah, so live events, and have a look at them, see what you think, where are you in your life, and go for it. So I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.